do you think about, and I've spoken with a few BAs who I'm coaching, who we're coaching, I should say, that they'll sometimes say that I'm not a technical person. I'm not an IT, person. So I don't know if I can become a BA because, you guys are going to be a part of these IT contracts. So I don't know if I'm comfortable with being a BA. What do you think about that, you know, those type of responses?
Um, I can understand that response. I can. Um, but it's not necessarily true. It would just depend on the situation.
Mhm.
The reason I say that is because at the root of what business analysts do, um, we have a lot to do. I mean, before it ever gets to the IT part, there are processes and procedures and questions that need to be asked before you ever get to the part about writing code.
Mhm.
And that part is really important because it underlies what kind of code is written, right?
Mhm.
It explains what the code needs to do once the developers get it. So you don't have to be a developer to be able to ask good questions and say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why, what are we changing? What are we getting from the change? Um, who's supporting the change? Who is this change going to affect? Okay. You can also ask, well, what happens if we don't make the change? Is the change really valuable? And how valuable is it? And this value compared to other types of value. All of these questions are things that business analysts ask, whether you're dealing with software or not.
Mhm.
So even if you don't have IT experience, you can still be an effective BA because you can ask those questions. I would, however, say that if you don't have a lot of IT experience, try to schedule some meeting with your developers and find out, um, try to find out what it is that they're doing and how, and
Mhm.
do some research on your own so that you can kind of come up to speed a little bit.
Mhm.
But you don't have to be an expert in IT to be
Mhm.
a valuable part of an IT project.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like there was, I had a position one time. I'm a technical person, so I can like easily pick up on like what needs to be done, system wise, whatever developing, software. However, I had some associates that weren't like technical people. They were like, person had a marketing background. And that's one misconception that I think a lot of individuals feel that they need to have a degree in the IT field in order to be a business analyst.
Mm-mm.
That is not what makes a business analyst. Those are what I call uh, different spaces of business analysis. We have a myriad of levels to BAs. I shouldn't even say levels. I should say portions or divisions of business analysis. You can come in as a person who has an English major, which would be a great. And like Laura Brandenburg herself was a journalist,
Mm-hmm.
so I was very surprised when like last year's boot camp, the IIBA Atlanta chapter boot camp, she was the keynote address, and she talked about her journey. And
Mm-hmm.
people need to understand that like you have to be don't live off the perception of others. Find out what it is that needs to be done, and don't automatically assume that you have to be a technical person. And I'm just mirroring what you're saying, essentially, but I'm just putting in my own words. And um, I mean, there are those people who are good at writing. Others may be good at finances. Others may be good at graphing and prototyping. You just have to find out what is your talent. And I'm gonna give it a good scenario on this. I was watching one of these videos. I don't know if you've seen this video online, where this young man, he had autism, and his mother brought him out. And when he got in on the stage, I think it was England Has Talent or something like that, right? and the little boy came out. The boy came out on the stage, and he had a voice of like, you know, one of those famous celebrities, and he started to play the piano, and it was phenomenal. It was almost genius level. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was so shocked to see that, and it made goosebumps come up. I was like, "Whoa, this guy!" So I don't know if you've seen it, but look it up because that to me, it was like if you know your talent and someone knows how to expose you to what
Mm-hmm.
you want to do, and maybe you're not an IT person, maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
not a technical person. So what? But do you know how to ask questions? Are
Mm-hmm.
you uh, are you a people person?
Mm-hmm.
What are your talents? Because if you're not a people person, there are business analysts that just write user stories or write requirements, documentation, and
Or research.
or research.
Or research.
Thank you.
Yes.
And it's like it really, you know, it really kind of upsets me sometimes to see people go through this. And I have empathy for whoever wants to become a business analyst when companies like automatically dictate, you know, they think they know where their needs are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what they really need is a person who can really document the process because they don't have documents in the first place.
Yeah.
Like the last class, I think that facilitated, one of the students in our class said to me, like, asked me actually that question. They said, well, I'm not a technical person, and so what would I do in this situation? Would um, if they want a person who has some background in this IT field, and I don't have it, or blah blah blah. What you need to do is a little research and try to simplify like your understanding of it. And if there's a person who's technical, you know, if you're already on the job, if there's a technical person, have them break it down to you in layman terms. And
Mm-hmm.
what helps, I thought that would help me most times is understanding like the workflow. Like how does it work? Can you draw it for me? You know, I can either have it in words or I can draw it out the process, you know, of how the workflow in the system, you know, actually works. And then like that ultimately help, you know, the person understand what the system is actually doing. And they were able to communicate that. So I don't know. But moving to the next topic. So you know that